Things are just moving all at once, aren't they? The Society, the remnants of the Intelligence Division, who seem to be working together, but to what end? And Joshua and the Capua family, too, are going to take advantage of the chaos to do something. We're not sure what, but we know that it's probably not going to be anything too dangerous. Not dangerous for us, at least. Also, I love how you can see Teeter and Ren there. Also, if I press the turbo button, they run around really fast! Yes, very thorough about the fact that we don't know anything. Funny you should say the term party, but still, they don't know that yet. The letters could be the invitations. So maybe the Intelligence Division remnants are behind all this. Yeah, wouldn't want the ambassadors getting attacked on the way to the villa. Okay, no evidence of them entering the country at all. Okay, so they probably haven't left, wherever they are. Yeah, right now we're kind of on standby. And suddenly appearing person. And yes, this is Warrant Officer Belk. I don't know why I read that as Bleck. Like, my head mixed the order of the L and the C. I kind of do that sometimes. I used to do that as a kid with a lot of the Pokemon names. My head would just kind of invent letters where they weren't letters or swap around some of the letters. Like the fact that I used to call Quagsire Quagglesphere. I don't really know. I just do that sometimes. I'm not really sure why. And, well, finally they're learning about this. And it seems like Joshua and the Sky Bandits have not been sighted yet. Yep, now you're gonna be just doubling all the guards for this place. Yes, patrols and stuff. Probably gonna be a little more than patrols at this point. It just might be. I mean, a lot of them were related to those groups that didn't want Liberl to be at peace with other nations. And time to collect the kids from daycare, I guess. Yeah, they also told us that we might get attacked soon, but yeah, don't worry about that for now. Well, yeah, they did have that conversation, but, heartbreaking now. Yeah, Agate's just gonna let Estelle handle all of this now. Estelle has become a babysitter. That's just chapter 3 in a nutshell. This is also probably a conversation we should not be having in front of Ren. Just saying. Oh, yeah, don't even, that would, I can only imagine just how frustrated they get at that. And so Teeter is back. You might notice that Olivier is not. That's why I stripped his inventory earlier. And I keep forgetting that you actually have to go all the way through here and get out. Before that, though, Duke Dunan is not in his room anymore. Huh, that's interesting. Where could he have gone to? And we'll be getting another scene immediately after leaving the villa, and this one's actually pretty important. I've also since learned that that scene with Duke Dunan, just before you look for Ren, is required. You'll already know that I found that out by now since I've added that footage to the end of the hide-and-seek part, but as of my recording time, I've only recently recorded the extra footage for that part. You know what? I get the feeling Duke Dunan is not safe even with all the monsters gone. I feel like he would probably run away terrified of just like a normal field mouse or something. And he'd probably demand a full squadron just to protect him from that. Seriously, talk about a waste of taxpayer money. Well, you helped overthrow the Queen and, aided a dangerous organization that was endangering civilians and, yeah. I guess we're doing this mostly to spare those poor Royal Guard soldiers. And for Philip. Philip's nice. We're not exactly common rabble. I love how Estelle continues to use Buddy here. She just completely ignores what he said. Maybe they were just annoyed at all the reports of this place having to spend so much money on donuts. So what Estelle is saying is, you want to go back home and rethink your life. Well, looks like we succeeded in making him leave without demanding an entire squad. Without really trying, so nice job. Yeah, he is kind of a spoiled child. So, I want to talk for a moment about that conversation as we're heading back to Grand Cell, because that conversation, I actually love that conversation on so many levels. I didn't really appreciate it the first time I played the game, but there are a lot of moments in the Trails series that get better the more you see them, and this is definitely one of them. We've already seen hints of Estelle's optimism leading to the redemption of people without her even realizing it in the first game. Namely, the Ravens. The Ravens have actually started to clean up their acts and, you know, stop being just thugs and try to use their talents for good now. All because of Estelle simply being nice to them and believing that they can change. And she was totally oblivious to that back in FC, which led to a bit of comedy. But here, Estelle even believes that someone like Duke Dunan can change if he wants to, and that I find is actually very unique for a game like this. Very often, jerk nobles like Duke Dunan are either there to be comic relief or there to be black and white villains with no redeeming qualities. The fact that this game treats Dunan like that for so long, but then they actually change their tune a bit and actually say that, you know what, maybe he's not completely irredeemable. And maybe he can change if he makes an effort to. And it's also a big character moment for Estelle. Ren says that Estelle is maybe a bit too nice, and in a way, that sums her up very well. Joshua says that she shines like the sun, which is another line that sums her up very well. And take note of that, because that's something that we will see going forward. Estelle's unyielding optimism is going to be very, very important. And it's moments like that bit with Duke Dunan that really show that. That really give you a hint of what's to come. Okay, so already being paid for the threat letter case. Because that's technically over, even though we didn't really find out much. But yeah, on to the next threat. The Intelligence Division is back, and we as players know that Amalthea is back, but the characters don't know that yet. So it would have been Agate and Annalise on the other route. Well, abandoned except for Campanella and a bunch of Robot Intelligence Division goons. And probably investigate an incident where a whole bunch of them exploded all at once thanks to Joshua. That's also something that I want to mention too. Is that scene there with the Robot Special Ops Division soldiers being blown up and just scattering their parts everywhere? it loses a little bit of its impact because there's obviously no blood, so you know that's not the case, but the fact that the characters in-universe, before they realize that the parts are made of metal, they actually do think that those people were actually blown apart, like by bombs planted in them or something. Like I said back at the end of Chapter 2, there are some very, very dark themes in this game. Just because there's no actual gore or, like, really graphic things shown on screen, doesn't mean this game is completely sunshine and rainbows. It's very much not. In fact, in Japan, I believe Sky SC has a higher rating than the rest of the Sky series, which is a little weird considering there's a very, 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 very disturbing scene in the third, but I'll get to that later. There's a reason why the third's re-release in Japan has a lower rating. Yep, everything is all in code. I can say, though, that Orgueil, which I believe is how that's pronounced, judging by its katakana, is French for pride, which actually works on a few levels. Yeah, we have people operating in other regions who can keep things under control until we inevitably get there. Considering Grand Cell's gonna be hit soon. Oh right, Olivier's not here. Yeah, that's why I stripped his inventory before. We actually don't have a chance to access his inventory for a while, as I said before. If a character leaves your party for a very large stretch of time in this game, they do automatically leave their quartz and equipment in your inventory. Kevin did that back in Chapter 1. Olivier, though, he's only absent for the rest of this chapter, but then he comes back, so I don't think he gets auto-stripped. And finally, late to the realization, if you're paying attention earlier, Ren used this opportunity to slip out. Somebody should have been keeping an eye on her. That is one strike against the Stelbright ace babysitter. Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. Considering, that conversation with Estelle last night, Ren does understand some pretty high-level concepts. So, guess what? We have another Search for Ren segment. Another game of hide and seek. And just like the first one, you get bonus BP if you find her without any help. For this one, though, getting the bonus BP is a bit less obtuse and a bit more fully understood by most people who play this game, and most walkthroughs. All you need to do is make sure that you don't talk to El Nan, because if you do, you get to ask him for help finding her, and that costs you the BP. Now, we actually haven't used Zin in a little while, so I think I may as well put him in the party. This is gonna give me a very physically heavy party, which is a bit of a problem, but yeah, I've given Olivier and Chloe a lot of screen time. Yes, let's ask the non-silly little girl. So, finding Ren is actually a pretty exhaustive process. You have to investigate pretty much every single place she went to with Tita. So, department store, history museum, ice cream, that's actually not even the half of it, by the way. But before we do that, we're actually going to head back into the guild because there's a new sewer monster, and this one is going to get us into the Grand Cell East sewers, and by extension the North sewers for some more treasure chests. Do I have anything to report? Nope, nothing, okay. So I'm going to head over there, and then I'll set up my augments a little bit. Oh, of course, Chloe has a bunch of stuff that I probably should have got rid of from her. Oh, and also we want to talk to Anton. And I just remembered that because of this, I just remembered because of this, also hi Tina blocking that soldier, that there's something... We're causing a pile-up, that's amazing. So, Anton is resolved once more, and so is the pile-up. Now, there are a few more things in the city we can do now. We'll be taking care of those while we're looking for Ren. So going into Grand Cell Department Store is one of them, because there they're selling LaBelle News issue 5. We'll take care of that, like I said, while we're looking for Ren, because you want to do the sewer monster before you find Ren. That is absolutely imperative that you do this. I mean, if you want to do it now, because these monster quests don't expire, like I've said before, but finding Ren is going to lock us into the end of this chapter. So, if you want to take care of this quest during Chapter 3, you have to do it now. But anyway, we have here a fishing spot, and if we go this way, we can get a preview of some more chests, as well as a whole bunch of scissor hands over there. We do not want to go that way. So, there's not that much to say here, since we're exploring an area we explored in a previous game, and just finding chests. So we're going to be taking care of both the East Sewers, and it's kind of weird. These enemies seem to aggro onto you very, very quickly, even though I don't have these scent cords equipped. And the scissor hands can inflict instant death with their basic attacks if you're not careful, so that's why I get worried whenever they go first against me. Well, at least didn't get it off there. Don't do it, please. Okay, good. The northern block of the sewers is completely optional at this point. No quest, it's only for 5 chests. But I'm going to take care of it now for the sake of efficiency. Water Seepeth times 200. The chest flipped its latch at you. You get the feeling that it's not a friendly gesture. I like that one. We have discovered the chest equivalent of flipping the bird. Red flies. As you open the treasure chest, you realize that coming back for more is probably selfish. You decide to leave what remains to others. Huh, I guess there's more fishing bait in there. Guess that's another one of those chests the fishing guild put to convert more members into their ranks. I have a few things to talk about here, and as we get into a few battles, the first thing I'll talk about is Zin. I actually find that, well, this is one of those situations where, the thing that I find is good about Zin in this game would really help, except that Zin's not going until all 3 of them have had a turn, and will inevitably not bunch up. So, one of Zin's main weaknesses in FC was that he lacks AoE attacks outside of his S-Craft. Now, in SC, he has Chain Crafts to make up for that. I almost called them Chain Attacks, but no, this is Xenoblade Chronicles. They're kind of similar to Chain Attacks, but not exactly. They're more similar to the Rush and Burst mechanics that appear in later Trails games. Later Trails games definitely refine the gameplay quite a lot. Like, say what you will about the story of Cold Steel and the... Some people may not like the high school setting. I personally don't mind it, but there are some who are quite vocal in their dislike of it, and that's fine. Most people still agree that Cold Steel's gameplay is pretty good, minus the things in it that are totally broken. So, Chain Crafts definitely help Zin. They give him access to a form of AoE damage. That is until he gets Thunder God Kick, which pretty much eclipses everything in usefulness, and you'll see that much, much later on. Okay, Zin really hates fighting these things because his ATS sucks and he has to get really close to them to do damage, but now might actually be a good time for a Chain Craft. Or, you know, as Shulk would say, a good time for a chain attack. They also keep Zin away from exploding enemies. Oh, nice one! They can also, yeah, get your status quartz off too, so... I'm actually really surprised that in my first playthrough, I rarely ever use chain crafts. Sometimes that happens with games. There's always a mechanic that you just don't really use in your first playthrough, and then it takes a second playthrough for you to realize, huh, this mechanic's actually not bad. I have a lot of AP charges, so I can probably afford to use a little bit of healing on Estelle here. So in my case, it was chain crafts in this game, and also one more mechanic that I underestimated a lot on my first playthrough. It's just, the enemies just aggro onto us all the time. I don't have scent equipped, so I'm not sure what's happening. We won't be seeing that mechanic until way later on, though. But I'll be sure to talk about it once I get to it. Okay, so up here, this is a monster chest. Yes, it is. And here we have a whole bunch of enemies. I kind of like using an S-Craft with the agate and just taking them all out in one fell sweep to make another Xenoblade reference. But, he's not good on CP right now. I could, however, use some of that ice cream that I bought.
We're good to go.
And let's see what we can... Okay, we can get all of you. That's probably my best option. It should take out everything besides the bonefish. No! It did take out the two moths, though. Because this thing's annoying because it likes to use its AoE freezing breath attack. I would kind of appreciate Zin having his S-Craft right about now, but... Well, I can do that with ice cream. Yeah, there's a reason why I bought all this. Oh, and he still doesn't have enough. So I might actually have to chain here. But those things are going to be attacking. You know, it might actually be more effective to use a smoke cannon here. Yep, definitely more effective. That takes out 4 of them. So sometimes chain crafts aren't the best, but they're usually pretty decent. The other problem is they cost multiple turns of party members. Okay, Zin is going to just punch you. And why not? Let's just Shinku Hadouken these guys. Like, Zin doesn't really need that much CP to function at this point. I'm mostly just using chain crafts with him. Once he gets Thunder God kicked, though, everything will change. Crystal heals. You open the chest, the familiar sight of nothing, and a reused chest quote. Oh, how you've missed this. Now, crystal heals, I believe, are female only, and they buff speed. Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, sadly, Estelle usually gets... I say sadly, because Tita's... I like giving Tita stuff, but Estelle usually gets first dibs on the good armor, because she's going to be forced into our party for the whole game, and unfortunately, as I've said many times before, Estelle's still not amazing of a party member in battle, so she kind of needs all the help she can get. Her versatility is really the one thing she has going for her. And her S-Crafts being ridiculously high single target damage. That can be useful sometimes, and that's really the main unique niche she has, as well as morale. But once you get access to La Force more consistently, you find yourself not really needing morale as much, I find. Okay, so down here, I want to show this because there's nothing for us here, but it's kind of weird. So this is the block that you can remove to make a shortcut between the west sewers and east sewers. Except for some very weird reason, the lever is stuck during this chapter, and I'm not sure why. It wouldn't break the plot to remove that barricade, because you don't ever need to go here for story progression. So I'm not sure why they locked you out of creating a shortcut here. It's just kind of bizarre. But it is a thing they do in this game. Okay, so yes, I will take this thing on now. Yep, it's a Gundol that wandered out of the sealed area. So they should probably seal off the sealed area a little bit more thoroughly. Okay, in terms of our EP and HP, we're probably fine. Okay, so I prepared a little bit this time. So let's see how this goes. Don't really have any crit turns coming up. But yeah, I probably... Do I want to S-Break with Agate here? I think I want to buff him and then S-Break. He's found Magaros really useful for that. Yes, we have 2 of these Gundols, which fight pretty much the same way they did in the sealed area in the last game, and they also constantly summon boiled eggers. They also love summoning them right in the middle of your group, which is really bad, because obviously they will explode when they die. I'm not gonna bother using smoke cannon because they're immune to blind. Got mute on one of them, but it's not really going to make much of a difference. Okay, so these things are very weak to... Well, not very, but slightly weak to aerial. And already summoning more boiled eggers. Yeah, the boiled eggers can very quickly overwhelm you here. Can I... Earth Wall's not going to go until, like, all of them have had turns. But I can chain 2 Estelle and Tita. I can only get 2 of them, though. Okay, yeah, let's do that. I like how Zin looks with the chain crafts, though. Shaved off a little bit of health. I probably should have strength buff before doing that. Please. Yeah, oh, just damage itself. Didn't quite confuse itself. Yeah, they can still confuse themselves. And they can also buff their defense and speed. Clock down is actually really helpful here, but for some reason, I decided not to bring most of my characters who have clock down because I wanted to show off Zin. I like giving everyone equal screen time, but sometimes that's a little bit of an honor before reason thing because it results in things like this. Okay. I think you're gonna buff yourself. And you're just barely in range of that, unfortunately. I don't think I can hard break the one who's casting. And I don't want to do that because Tita's like the only one who... I suppose I can heal Tita. The other annoying thing is these things can repair themselves as well. Which leads me to something that I probably should have mentioned back in that Divine Penguin fight. It's that healing in this game is particularly annoying on the higher difficulties because the healing is always the same regardless of what mode you're on. But obviously due to the enemy's higher defensive stats, your damage output is a lot lower on the higher difficulties, so it's a lot harder to out-heal... Oh, please tell me this is not going to kill me. Okay, good. And I probably should have done that a turn later, because now one of them gets 10% heal, but oh well. Did a fair amount of damage there. And another one's going into level 2 defense mode, which makes it even harder to take down. I think I suppose I should go ahead and heal Agate here with... Shelful Dish is definitely nice. It's a pretty good healing item at this point. As for Estelle, how low is that one that's casting? Pretty low, but unfortunately, Ariel's going to barely do anything. I just really, really want those gun dolls to die quickly, because they can summon more things, and they are... And they can heal themselves... And we're gonna get smacked with a Plasma Wave again. It's always annoying when you're expecting them to confuse themselves and they just go ahead and do that instead. But it's not annoying when they waste their turns like that. Okay, what should Tita do here? I guess I can do this. That will take out both the boiled eggers, which is nice. Actually, 3 boiled eggers. Okay, level 2 defense mode. I was worried that you would shoot Tita and then she'd lose all of her CP. I have a crit turn here, and I probably should use it with Estelle. Because this will probably take out one of them. I may be overestimating here. Yes, I was overestimating, but it still did quite a lot. And I would very much like a chain craft here, but I'm not going to get one because everyone else's CP is too low. I don't really want to use... Yeah, to attack, otherwise Tita would... They're all in level 2 defense mode now. Which sounds like a Yu-Gi-Oh thing. Okay, that is definitely not safe Wild Rage health. Can I... Okay, that will kill off one and do a bit of damage to the other, and I can also hit the boiled egg with that, so I might as well.
Let's do it! Oh, okay.
Oh, that actually did not kill one of them. Oh, and you didn't confuse yourself. I feel like them actually confusing themselves is pretty rare in this game. And activates kill mode. Which sounds pretty ominous. I can definitely finish off the one that's in kill mode, though. And thankfully, these are not the exploding variety of underground mechs. But yeah, there's just so many enemies and they get so many turns because this is hard mode. And everything has stupidly high speed. I do have a pretty good healing item that also, although... Oh, that's not going to finish that one off. I don't think that's actually going to finish it off either. But it is kind of nice that, this can be used even when you're sealed. Wow, that was way less than I expected. I think probably because it's in defense mode. Oh, there we go, circuit shortings. Yeah, that actually kills you. Nice. So only one of them left, but we still have the boiled eggers, and that could be very, very dangerous. Because all three of us are going to get hit by the plasma wave. No, just Tita and Aga got hit by that. Okay, how many Azalea Kiss? I've got 9 of these. Okay, now you are ridiculously buffed. Actually, I can go for a full chain too. Don't know if this will... No, you have like 3,000, don't you? Yeah, you have way too much health just to finish you. Okay, that's bad. Estelle and Tita are guaranteed to die to that unless I somehow... No, I can't finish off that boiled egger. So I guess I actually have to S-break with you, otherwise all this CP is wasted. Oh great, please don't repair yourself from that crit turn, that'd be really, really frustrating. Of course you would. Yep, 1.5 times healing. Okay, let's get those two back up. Oh, I'm just barely in range of that, aren't I? Okay, no, just agate. That's probably fine. Wow, okay. Yeah, that is the power of strength buffs in this game, especially when enemies use them. And this is hard mode in a nutshell. You can go from dominating to being completely dominated in seconds. Because yeah, things look very, very bad right now. Okay, this should be a little better though. Let's just go and premium herb tea yourself. I actually made a lot of these at the end of the last chapter because they're actually pretty cheap to get in terms of the ingredients. And that's not good. At least its kill mode is worn off. I still really want to do this, but then someone's probably going to die to it. No, you hit Zin. That's actually perfect. Okay, as long as I keep healed, hopefully this shouldn't be too bad. Also, amazingly, Zin is still buffed. And right, let's slowly get you down. Now that you're no longer speed buff, which also helps. And get away from the boiled eggers. That could be a problem. Oh, and of course, you would, like, immediately cast. But you should... Yeah, okay, all three of them down. Wow, I'm not used to this fight giving me trouble, but then again, my practice playthrough of this game was on normal, which is kind of a joke. Oh, that's already at the bottom of the battlefield, so you guys can't get pushed back any further than that, unfortunately. Well, I just want to take a chance and see if this ends up killing Agate and Tita. No, both survived, and Tita didn't get hit by either explosion. Which is actually pretty cool. And she's close to leveling up, but not quite. But anyway, yeah, that fight. I did not expect that one to give me so much trouble. I usually go in here with a caster and use clock down, so that's probably why. But in here, we get Trickster, the true trickster. As you close the chest, it gives you a sad look. It wishes it had something more for you too. So that's a weapon for Olivier, who's actually not going to be here for a while, so he won't be able to reap the benefits of that for a little while. Oh boy, I'm actually pretty badly hurt. I think the smartest option here is actually just to head back and heal. Okay, so we're back here after healing. There's one more chest in the east block, along with... Oh, there's only one of you, may as well finish you off. Along with 5 more chests in the north block, which I'm going to go ahead and get now for the sake of efficiency, even though we don't need to go to the north block just yet. We won't actually need to for a very, very long time. Okay, let's just slip past you and grab this. Got some spine. What? There's nothing in here? Boring. What's not boring is getting one more recipe in our log. It's kind of an interesting name. I'm actually not sure what this is called in Japanese. I'll probably look it up while I'm editing. But let's just slip past you, and the secret passageway to the north sewer block is already opened. So, yeah, this area is a lot like Carnelia Tower from Chapter 2, in that it's pretty much optional, and the only reason to go here is just chests. But there are 5 chests that we do need to pick up eventually. These sheep have this really annoying habit of doing that, but also being so fast, they get the first turn on you pretty much constantly. And I don't know why the enemies in here just aggro onto me all the time. I don't have scent on my augment. In fact, we don't even have scent at all, like, as a quartz. Haven't even found it yet. But going through here gets us to a chest that, thankfully, in SC, they don't painfully tease you with as much as they did in FC. Because we can grab this, Tira Balm. The chest's empty, but if you keep opening and closing the lid, it looks like it's talking. It's another one of my favorite ones. And... Adel Gardens. Dimitri's least favorite footwear. Looking deep into the back of the chest, you see a tiny handwritten note you didn't notice previously. It reads, "The crests are to blame," and also please do not take. So, the Edelgarders are ironically a male-exclusive piece of equipment, and they're actually really not that great. They just boost defense and movement. But Zin doesn't really care about that much besides strength and defense, so I'm going to go ahead and give that to him. Yeah, these things just aggro onto immediately. It's weird. Okay, back through here. And in here. Bonefish are now a regular encounter. And nice one, Tita levels up. We'll all hopefully be around 55 soon. Long Barrel 2. This chest is better than the others. Why? Secrets. That will tell you if you put what you took back inside. Unfortunately, this item is now property of cuteness, as Tita has it, and I just want to show off something. So Long Barrel 1 and 2 do stack with each other for a total buff of +5 to range, so Tita can now pretty much snipe everything from all the way across the battlefield, at the cost of not being immune to any status. I normally don't like doing this, but I might as well show it off for a tiny bit. Now, through here, we are slowly approaching this part that I, well, am not exactly looking forward to, because they're actually a bit jerkish with stuff. You know, not that way. Through here. Because down these stairs, they lead to a bridge, and you want to be careful to be fully healed before you try and cross this bridge. And you can probably tell why. It is an ambush of sheep! Fortunately, not the combining Megazord variety, but still quite a lot of them, and they can hashtag ends gone loco and buff your strength and lower your defense, aka the taunt skill from Shin Megami Tensei, which is actually absurdly good in a lot of settings. Okay, now, the way these things go, they're usually very, very vulnerable to chain crafts. I think I have enough CP to do one, but they're, like, all getting their turn at once. Thankfully, Xian, who's strength buffed, is going first. Oh, I was hoping that you'd walk a little bit further forward, but you know what? I'm actually going to wait for the crit turn. So, in this case, I will, go for Distend to kind of reverse that defense buff there. And Smoke Cannon, because blinding things is always good, and with the range buff, We can now pretty much aim it anywhere. Of course, the black ones are immune to blind, but let's go chain 2, Tita second, Zin third, and I can't get as many as I was hoping for, but by doing this we should kill off all of these sheep. Pretty much complete overkill, but it's fun to look at. And now, let's get overkill petrify. Oh, wow, you're running, okay. Still does a pretty solid amount of damage, even with Zin's buffs. Okay, you're not gonna run. You are probably gonna just die. And another petrify, but this time was not complete overkill. So, this is not the reason why I said the game was jerkish. Because as we cross over this bridge and keep heading forward, up these stairs, and gonna have to dodge another bonefish. You see this chest right here? I think you know what's coming. So you're probably thinking to yourself, after throwing a bunch of sheep at us, there's no way that they'd put a monster chest here, right? Well, about that. It's a monster chest. That's kind of mean, but honestly, sort of the kind of mean that I can reluctantly admit, yeah, well done, designers. You got me there. But that's very worth it, because from that chest we get the Holy Cloth. Wow, you're the first human to ever take something from me. I'm so excited. Yeah, you certainly defended yourself well. The Holy Cloth is so good that I often keep using it all the way until, like, chapter 6. It's that amazing. Plus 50 ATS. I mean, Agile or Evasion minus 10, but who cares about Evasion in this game? I normally give that to Chloe, but since Chloe's not here right now, Estelle's gonna take that, and wow, that was a close call. Running into that thing unprepared could have been really terrible. But with that, there's only one more thing left to get here. And that's one chest in the area that leads to the Royal Palace. Oh, I remember back in FC, by the time we were here, we had the Cloak Forts. Yeah, if you look at the state of my team after that fight, I'll just say one sentence, hard mode. But we can go ahead and grab this for a bunch of Seepeth. The chest is empty. Why don't you fill it with something? Come on, come right in. That chest is definitely not a creepy cannibalistic chest trying to entice you into it, but anyway, you can't get through the secret passageway to the palace. It makes sense they blocked that after you sneaking in that way in the last game. So with that, we've done pretty much everything we can in the sewers. So I think I'll just end here because there's no real reason to show me heading out of the sewers. And next time, we'll be looking for Ren.